Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headaches stack. Restlessness to hell and back.
All right, everyone, the wait is finally over. What I'm holding right now is the highly anticipated Red Magic Gaming Tablet 5 Pro, which will be released globally as the Red Magic Astra 2 very soon. After nearly 3 months of teasers and promotional content, including a special preview from Jiang Chao himself, it's finally time to see what this gaming tablet is really capable of. For this review, we also teamed up with the neighboring Xiaobai database and used their professional touchscreen testing equipment to evaluate the tablet's touch responsiveness for the very first time. So without wasting any more time, let's dive right in. Big thanks to my tech partner over in China for providing this footage. I really appreciate the support in making this video happen. Hey everyone, Stella here from techiestreet. If you're into staying updated with the newest gadgets, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our latest tech content. Let's begin with the design. The tablet features a metal back panel paired with a clean, uninterrupted display on the front, while the frame is crafted from a single piece of metal. Just like its predecessor, it still includes the embedded glass design. Under that glass, the decorative layer creates an eye-catching shimmering effect that changes depending on the viewing angle. Around the SoC area, you'll also notice gold-colored branding that gets off a premium vibe similar to the previous Gold Edition model. The biggest visual change, however, is the cooling system. The internal cooling fan is gone, making way for an RGB liquid cooling design. And yes, after plenty of requests from fans, the liquid cooling finally lights up. The illuminated liquid effect flows from the Red Magic logo all the way toward the camera module, creating a unique gaming aesthetic. Inside the settings menu, you can even activate turbo mode, which boosts the cooling animation for about 30 seconds, adding a futuristic touch to the whole experience. Now let's move around to the frame. The power button also doubles as a fingerprint scanner for quick unlocking. The infrared sensor continues with the rounded corner design introduced on the previous generation, making the tablet feel comfortable to hold during extended gaming sessions. The overall edge transition feels smooth in the hands, and the interface layout deserves plenty of praise. A USB Type-C port has been added along the longer side, making it much easier to charge while gaming with wired headphones connected. Just like before, the speaker placement and charging port are positioned so they won't get blocked by your hands while playing, which is definitely a thoughtful design choice. Now onto the display. The tablet comes with a stunning 185Hz OLED panel. The bezel size strikes a nice balance between minimizing accidental touches and maximizing screen space, with all 4 sides remaining evenly proportioned. In terms of refresh rate, this is one of the fastest displays you'll find on a compact gaming tablet, or even among tablets in general. Since it's an OLED screen, motion clarity is excellent for FPS games. Compared to current LCD gaming tablets, ghosting is much better controlled, helping reduce blur during fast camera movement or heavy weapon recoil. That means tracking enemies while aiming becomes noticeably easier. Among the major high refresh rate FPS titles, Crossfire Mobile has already been optimized to support the full 185 FPS experience. Anyone who regularly uses the USP will immediately understand how valuable that extra smoothness can be. As for brightness, our real-world database testing recorded a manual maximum brightness of 742 nits, while peak brightness under strong lighting reached 1,165 nits. That's a very solid result for a tablet, making outdoor visibility excellent while also delivering an enjoyable HDR video experience. The display itself measures 9.06 inches with a 16:10 aspect ratio and a resolution of 2400 by 1504 pixels. Now let's move to the most important part of any gaming tablet, performance. The Red Magic Gaming Tablet 5 Pro is powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, paired with LPDDR5X memory and UFS 4.1 storage, creating an extremely powerful hardware combination. To find out how it performs under gaming workloads, let's check the test results. Since this is a gaming-focused tablet, we're concentrating on demanding performance tests. We'll start with a straightforward one, a 30-minute high-load stress test. Throughout the session, the tablet maintained an average frame rate of 60 FPS, while the 1% low stayed at 59.5 FPS. That's performance on par with Red Magic's flagship gaming smartphones. Total power consumption measured 8 watts, and the highest service temperature reached 51.1 degrees Celsius. Overall, this workload barely challenged the hardware, showing just how much performance headroom the tablet has. Next up is another demanding title, the Cyberpunk 2027 crossover game. The Red Magic Gaming Tablet 5 Pro continues to support this feature, essentially working like a PC game emulator for mobile devices. You can either play locally installed games or sign into your Steam account and access your Steam library directly. We downloaded Cyberpunk straight onto the tablet, and after spending several days playing it, our team managed to unlock the entire map. Even with the built-in frame rate cap, the tablet consistently maintained a stable 15 FPS throughout gameplay. As most people know, running PC games through emulation introduces a noticeable performance penalty, so it doesn't fully showcase what the hardware can actually achieve. So what about a mainstream game that's fully optimized without any emulation? That's where PUBG Mobile comes in. We used a little trick by downloading every in-game skin and switching the graphics settings to HDR. The game immediately unlocked a native 185 FPS mode. That's an incredibly impressive number. In a room maintained at 25 degrees Celsius, with awakening mode enabled and the character left idle in the training ground, power consumption climbed to 6.2 watts. After just 10 minutes, the tablet's highest recorded temperature reached 43.1 degrees Celsius. Finally, we moved into actual gameplay using the Database 5.0 methodology. After 15 minutes of real matches, the average frame rate settled at 173.8 FPS. The 1% low measured 48 FPS, while total power consumption reached 7.7 watts. Once the tablet hit a peak temperature of 45.8 degrees Celsius, power restrictions started to kick in, keeping the frame rate from reaching higher levels. We then switched over to destroyer mode. At first, the performance became much more stable, but as the temperature continued to rise, the tablet began experiencing even heavier frame drops. By the end of the test, the average frame rate had fallen to just 161.5 FPS, while the 1% low dropped to 33.1 FPS. Power consumption climbed all the way to 13.4 watts, and the device reached a scorching 63.8 degrees Celsius. Honestly, the developers deserve some workers' compensation after putting the hardware through this kind of punishment. In simple terms, awakening mode mainly limits power consumption, while destroyer mode pushes the limits of performance. But does that mean we've already seen everything the Red Magic Gaming Tablet 5 Pro has to offer? Not at all. Next, we paired it with the Red Magic Cooler 8 Pro. Interestingly, this cooler also includes its own destroyer mode, drawing nearly 40 watts of power. So naturally, we decided to have a destroyer versus destroyer showdown. After a full 30-minute test, the tablet achieved an average frame rate of 178.3 FPS, with a 1% low of 34.7 FPS. Compared to the earlier run, the frame rate graph looked much smoother, and that's after running continuously for half an hour. Total power consumption measured 11.6 watts, while the highest device temperature stayed at just 42.9 degrees Celsius. Now that the extreme stress testing is out of the way, let's move on to some more realistic, everyday gaming scenarios. In PUBG Mobile, running at 4K resolution with HDR graphics and 120 FPS enabled, the Database 5.0 testing standard recorded an average frame rate of 119.9 FPS after 30 minutes of gameplay. The 1% low remained at 116.2 FPS. Total power consumption reached 7.6 watts, and the highest body temperature measured 45.1 degrees Celsius. Overall, this lines up perfectly with what you'd expect from a tablet that's built specifically for gaming. That said, our game designers did point out one issue. According to them, the super resolution option under the ultra-high definition settings still doesn't provide any real benefit. As a quick side note, we also wanted to check the tablet's long-term stability. Our designers spent an extended period playing with both their primary and secondary game accounts, and the gameplay data is shown on screen. Throughout all of that testing, they didn't encounter any issues related to the goggles. Based on those results, we believe that as long as your device hasn't been rooted, the chances of running into that problem should be extremely low. This review isn't only about gaming performance. Since we've spent so much time testing touch response on smartphones, it was finally time to give tablets the same treatment. The Red Magic Gaming Tablet 5 Pro, which officially features the Synaptics S3930 touch processor, became our very first tablet for touch latency testing. For comparison, we used the iPad Pro in FPS games. Wondering why we didn't include the MOBA? Well, with its 16:10 aspect ratio that's much closer to a phone, we felt it wasn't the right comparison. Instead, we chose a more traditional 4x3 tablet. In Peacekeeper Elite, the iPad Pro recorded a tap latency of 48.4 milliseconds and a swipe latency of 146.6 milliseconds. Due to limited testing time, that's all we were able to measure for now. If there are other touch tests you'd like to see, let us know in the comments. Toy Dragon is also working on a dedicated small tablet comparison review, and according to them, the touch analysis will be especially detailed, so you can keep an eye out for that. Let's also talk about cooling performance. Compared to traditional smartphone cooling solutions, the cooling module positioned near the SoC provides a noticeable heat dissipation advantage. Inside a 25 degrees Celsius testing chamber using Destroyer mode, the Red Magic Gaming Tablet 5 Pro reached a maximum temperature of 60 degrees Celsius. Once the stress test ended, it cooled naturally from 56.3 degrees Celsius down to 45.9 degrees Celsius in just 1 minute. So based on those results, how many points out of 5 would you give its cooling performance? For battery and charging, the Red Magic Gaming Tablet 5 Pro packs an 8300 mAh battery with support for up to 80-watt wired fast charging, along with bypass charging. Interestingly, the box actually includes a 100-watt charger. Maybe that's a little hint about what's coming in the next generation. Moving on to the audio experience, the tablet supports communication fusion, allowing it to make use of mobile data for communication features. It also keeps the dual X-axis linear motors that were highly praised on the previous generation. Peacekeeper Elite already supports vibration optimization, and the haptic feedback feels genuinely satisfying during gameplay. So now it's your turn. If you had to score the Red Magic Gaming Tablet 5 Pro out of 5, let us know your rating down in the comments. As the flagship conclusion to this generation of gaming tablets, the Red Magic Gaming Tablet 5 Pro delivers seriously impressive overall performance. One of the boldest decisions this time is replacing the traditional internal cooling fan with the new night cooler system. Integrating that long RGB cooling structure into a tablet is likely much more challenging than doing the same on a smartphone. If it means taking a little longer during production to create a better gaming experience, that's definitely a worthwhile trade-off. And that's all for today's review. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and become part of our growing tech community. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.